All right, hello, wine drinking people. Today is Saturday, May 28th. Just took it out a whole lot of white Burgundy last night here, some great stuff. And hey, as I mentioned before, it's Australian Wine Week this week. That's right. And I'll never forget my couple trips that I made to Australia, South Australia. The first one with Dan Phillips. The second one, man, I had such a great time with Dan. I said, I am going back. I'm going to bring some of my friends. And, you know, the Australians showed us an incredible time. Not only did they open up their best bottles of wine for us, but they wined us and dined us in their own restaurant, just like at Kaesler Winery, where they have their own restaurant there on the property. We had lunch with Reid Bosward, the winemaker, and the mind behind this brilliant winery. One of the best properties in the Barossa. And the history of this property goes back over 100 years when the Kaeslers moved here in like 1893 or something. No, sorry, 1840. And they actually established 96 acres of vineyards in 1891. And they built upon this throughout the years, throughout the century. You know, they planted various fruit trees and other things in the vineyard as they, you know, the farm progressed, and they had cows there. And, you know, they never made wine, or, you know, they may have made a little wine for their, you know, for themselves, but never made wine commercially. They always sold their grapes to the sepults. And over the years, they planted more Shiraz. Instead of pulling up the Shiraz in the 70s or in the 80s, when they decided to do the great Shiraz pull, you know, they actually planted more. So they have got one of the largest vineyards, old vine Shiraz vineyards in the Barossa. And, you know, for instance, this wine, the Old Vine Shiraz, contains vines about 40 to 70 years old. Okay, what does that mean? Old vine Shiraz, well, the fruit naturally concentrates itself more. The older the vine, the less fruit that it's going to produce naturally. So less fruit, more concentration. Hey, they make a wine called Old Bastard. Well, this is what Reid Bosward saw in this property. He was making wine just a few hundred yards away at Chateau Dorian, and the landmark property in the Barossa, and came across, you know, some of this vine, some of this old vine material from the Kaesler Ranch, and made some wine out of this. Called it the Old Bastard because you know, it was from 100-plus-year-old vines, and some of the greatest Shiraz Reid had ever tried. So he decided to try to buy this property, and his luck would have it, it was for sale, and you know, it was a small piece of what the original Kaesler vineyard was, and it wasn't really big enough to build a winery. And you know, Reid took on some investors, an American, and you know, he decided that well, we're going to need some more property. So what do you know? Luck would have it, the property next door came up for sale. So a series of lucky events happened, and now Reid has got this wonderful vineyard, most of what the Kaeslers originally planted in the 100 years ago in the late 19th century. All right, well, this old vine Shiraz, you know, these wines can be a little bit over the top for some people. This wine's 16% alcohol. Whew. Man, just start sweating thinking about drinking that one. But look at the color on that, man. Opaque. And you get this lovely kind of candied brown sugar nuance in these notes. Chocolate, something you get from the Barossa. Really intense fruit, though, too. Almost like grape liqueur coming out of the glass here on the nose. Licorice, spice. And even though it is 16% alcohol, man, this wine still has lovely balance. Kaesler's 2005 Old Vine Shiraz. Check it out on today's offer at half the regular price. I'm your host, Andrew Lamposoni, signing off for the Wine Watch, saying remember, always drink the good stuff first.